Well, folks, we have Valentine with us again today, as you can see, and he and I have been talking yesterday and again today and straightening out some things. And I did get his book, Warrior Men with Angel Wings. It just came today. But today, the topic, we're going to talk about fractured families globally. And Aristo, please take it away.
No, Valentine.
Valentine, I'm sorry.
That's great for comic relief.
Well, I do make videos with Aristo, and yesterday was his birthday.
Okay, so that's why. Okay, we're celebrating that. Well, I'm in Greece now, in Hawaii.
You slipped into Greece and landed in Hawaii? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm dream time in Greece, got back from an Aristo. Now I'm back here with in Hawaii with volcanoes going off.
Yeah, you were telling me that there's a volcano in, where did you say, Latin America somewhere?
Yeah, in South America, in Guatemala, it blew this morning. It's all over a million people are affected. I mean, hundreds of people in the town are covered with mud and ash. People are dead. The thing blew. And it's affected. They said the images were, I'm getting chickens, my chicken skin,
Yeah.
What we call Holy Spirit going through. It's daunting because all the countries are stepping in to help with medical, blankets, food. They're all stepping in. They just said countries are aiding them right now in Guatemala with the lava. The volcanoes. And they said Mother Earth is spilling out all over globally right now. It's not just Hawaii.
Well, you know that the Pacific plate keeps moving to the east, and it's going under the continents. And Guatemala is actually below Mexico. It's just below Mexico, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it's right. It's the country just below Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so that's closer to what we're talking about. The plate's heading that direction from.
Yeah, and that makes that whole Pacific edge of the continent capable of having earthquakes and volcanoes and all sorts of things.
Yes, and what you're not aware of, Ron, that yesterday we had an earthquake of 5.8, and they went on in emergencies on everyone's TV and whoever in the communities and the news. They said 5.8, a possible tsunami warning. And then the other
5.8, was it in Latin America or was it in Hawaii?
No, in Big Island.
In the Big Island, okay.
Big Island, 5.8, and I had to stop everything because I was watching. I have the cable all set up where it interrupts when it's an emergency. They call it. They go right in and they tell you, as of this time, 3:56, it's a 5.8. Please, it blew in for the water. Be careful, the tsunami. We have a tsunami effect right now. Then the local news and the news channels here say hey, wait a minute. We don't have a tsunami. We do have a 5.6 or 5.5. They went down lower than what the emergency said, 5.8. We have a 5.6, and there's no tsunami warning right now. So then you got two things going on. One tells you on an emergency, there's just a tsunami warning because they want to let people know now the lava went into the ocean, even more so. But the earthquake happened, and now we're finding out about Guatemala today that the whole thing blew, and 1 million people are affected now.
That fractures families when you have that kind of natural disasters happening. It fractures human life, not just everything.
Yeah. They talked about I saw the images and it says be very graphic. A lot of people may have to turn, this is going to be very graphic. They see bodies that were charred and burnt and people covered with completely mud and like they thought they're going to die. And I think dozens died, they said, but villages and everything are pilling out and asking for aid. And these countries are assisting. They didn't name the countries. They just said these countries are coming to assist them right away.
I have a friend in Costa Rica, which is just a little bit further south from there.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I was shocked because I had no idea unless I turn on and I'm very present what's going on to see how we can help humanity. You know, we have to be voices to help out because a lot of people don't tune into the news any longer or get on TV. You know what I mean?
No, I never watch TV. I haven't watched TV since the hurricanes were coming this way. It was either August or September, and that's the only time I've had the TV on in over a year that I've lived here in this apartment.
You know what I mean? So people like Ron, you got to inform them, you know, what's going on, or get on the computer and say, hey, check this out, like your neighbor with the wedding. They played that one yesterday on TV. I'm not kidding you. In Hawaii, it's called a public television station, Akaku, right? And they got 3 stations, so you'll know. I want to let people know. One is for the community. One's for the government, whatever, and another one's for spiritual and enlightenment and inspirational speakers from all around the world that come.
And that's the one where the videos that you and I make together are on the inspirational one, I guess.
Yes, on 54 Red 2. It looks like a Red Sox, you know, like a Red Sox, a Hawaii, like the Boston Red Sox. It has a red sock up on the corner. So people want to see it or tune into it, you know, in Hawaii. Now, you have to understand, there's about maybe 2.5 to 3 million people. This is being shown every day for the end of the month because of the nature of what we're speaking about, Ron and I, and the volcano with the wedding, and then all the videos, they pick up whatever time frames they can put in. 8 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, 4:25 in the afternoon, 4:30, 8 in the evening. I can't believe it. Anytime I didn't expect that. I thought maybe they just play a little bit, but they said, we want to play your videos heavily, Ron and Valentine, because of what you're saying, the message to help people, helping humanity.
Well, we need an awakening, and nothing is going to help us if we're unwilling to face the reality of the world we live in. That's the first step. We have to acknowledge where we are, or we can't get to anywhere else.
Right.
You know, it's not a system of denial. It's a system of embracing and transforming. Yes,
exactly. And when you transform, that's why when we go into a sweat lodge, you transform things. You do is homitakiasan in the Lakota, you know, all your relations. That's what
I know. I've done sweat lodges for a big part, you know, several years of my life. I was doing sweat lodges once or twice a month.
A month, right?
Right.
I was doing it every week. Every week they were doing
it. I've never done them that often.
And then every 2 weeks. It got a little bit too much every week, and people said, can we do it every 2 weeks? This is a lot of preparation for them to prepare for people that travel from all walks of life would find our lodge here in upcountry in Haiku at Jessamine Lodge. You know, they called her Sage, and then it's Jessamine Lodge because of the Buddhism. Not only did she have a lodge, but she had a Buddhist temple on the property with the Dalai Lama that stays there. As I stay in, it's called the Lama Room. The Dalai Lama is invited to be there quietly. People don't know when he speaks here that he's at different homes, but he was invited to be in her home and spend time with us. You know what I mean? Quietly, you know, with our lodge and with the Buddhist temple, which the temple is a training temple for the Buddhists around the world. You know, we have in Paia one trainer's boot, but temple training center. But because she's out in the country and all the land, they want to use it as a training center there in the future because she want to dedicate it to help the Buddhists. Yeah. But
are you in connection with any of the families that have been fractured as a result of these major cataclysms?
Yes, I actually know the person. I was approached Saturday I was from a haiku, and they mentioned the woman's name, Carol. I don't know if I should mention her name, whatever.
First name, there's lots of Carols, so.
Yeah, I could mention, I know the last name, but I won't bring it up.
That's not important.
Yeah, so anyway, Tara says to me, Valentine, after the car was broken into, and I'll tell you about that in a minute if need be, but people are smashing and grabbing things on the beach while you're my dear friend that cleans my home gets broken into while we're at the beach. But the
Yeah, you
retired,
told me about that when we talked yesterday.
yeah. But anyway, so while we're at the car, the reason I'm bringing it up, Tara stops and goes, "What happened?" She goes, "Valentine, do you know that in the Big Island, Leilani Estates," he says, "Carol," and I know her husband, Brown, at the time, we're the best of friends. She said she lost her home in Leilani Estates in the Big Island. Completely shocked. She said, just took it over. The lava's over it. Just took her home over. Now, she's been in Hawaii for like 40 years. 40 years. She's from the mainland originally, but she was with my best friends. I have pictures with her and everything. And yes, I know people have been fractured by it. And I know families from Molokai to Oahu that know people. I know people in Kapoho and where it's happening with other healers that I know of that were affected by this. Yes.
Well, these cataclysms, as you said, are happening in various places worldwide.
Yes.
And it isn't even just the Pacific plate that's moving. I mean, there's other places in other areas that are also being affected, and it's fracturing human lives, not just families, but human lives.
Yes.
Nobody knows what to think or what to believe anymore because there's so much information and disinformation being put out, and everybody is very good at presenting their side of it for the most part.
Yes. That's interesting you said that, because I got a phone call from Florida, and you know what he said to me? He goes, "Everything I'm hearing on the news, Valentine, the reason I'm calling you, I don't know what to believe." He said he works with healing all over the world. He volunteers and helps people, right, Tom? And he goes, "Valentine, I'm going to tune into your video with Ron and you, and I'm going to listen to what you have to say because you're on the island and you know what's going on. This news thing is like, I don't know what to believe." He told me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a vested interest in manipulating people's reactions. And
Yes.
they don't want to have happen what happened with 9/11. When 9/11 happened, there was a rise in positive energy of everybody wanted to do something to help. I mean, it didn't last as long as I would have liked, but there was a positive movement of people helping each other and pulling together to as best we could to help those that were hurt.
Yes.
And that's what we need to do worldwide. We need to start helping the people that are being hurt by the governments that are causing so many of the problems.
Yes, and the other thing is, I'm interested you brought that up about the government, because Tara said to me and looked at me and says, "Valentine, because these are people on the inside in the Big Island, and I know Carol about healing, and also with Tara and the families there, and they said, look, what we're getting information that the government was doing fracking on the Big Island, drilling over there, and they feel that this has been caused by the government, and we won't be able to prove it, but that's what they feel, that this was what's happened." Because I'll give you another example. I was in Kauai, and I warned them. I was on Maui, and I was 2-3 months, and it's called Nihihau. And Nihihau is an island where it's all Hawaiian language. There's no one's allowed there unless you're Hawaiian. There's 300-400 of them, maybe 500. And I got a message. I had a vision to show the government told them that they were no longer working underneath their island there, Kauai or Nihihau, which you can't get invited there, even if you're Hawaiian. You have to be invited by the Robinsons family or the Hawaiians in order to be invited to this island. You have to speak the language or be invited as a guest. No one else is allowed on that island. You can look it up, Nihihau. Yeah, and I'll give that information to you. And when I told him I came in with the vision, the guy that was involved that wanted me to come over to Kauai was handling the pro ball football game. He was the promoter of the whole thing, where the presidents would come in on the Big Island. He would handle that. You know what I mean? Like that, on that, with the dignitaries and all. the so-called dignitaries, right? So, yeah, right.
That's a matter of perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, right. So anyway, what I'm pointing out is, I said I saw in the vision that they were working underneath, like the submarines. They were doing things on their island, and things were happening over there. And the people were trying to entrust the government that they were telling the truth, that they weren't doing anything. But I was showing the vision that it's not true, and they were in shock because they were just trusting the government, that they were showing everything, that they were not involved with Kauai or with Niihau. Underneath the island, the government, the military wasn't doing anything any longer. Well, they were. If anything, they were secretly going under with the vision. So I gave it to the people that were heading into Niihau. Now, I was invited in 4 times to Niihau. You know what people said in Hawaii to me? Oh, you must have some mana. I want to go to Niihau. I'm Hawaiian. How did you get invited? You know? And then people that weren't Hawaiian, that were psychologists, he said, you must have some mana, brother, to go there, because, I mean, I would love to be there, because it'd be a life dream to go and see the real Hawaiian before anyone came in and
before the Western pollution.
Yes. They live off the land. They have their own education, their own language still, and they're all Hawaiian families. And he said, it's a sight to be unseen. I said, are they going to look? They're going to listen to me, the skin that I'm in? I said, you're in your skin, Hawaiian, and I'm delivering a message to you and your wife to tell them. They said, we're in shock, Valentine. I said, I described the vision to them. She said, we're still in shock, and I'm getting, the Holy Spirit's coming through me, chicken skin, goosebumps all over me, what I just said. That's the truth. That's the truth, Sarah. So getting back to here in Hawaii, when that came in, what Tara's saying to me, which she knows me, says, Valentine, there was fracking done in the Big Island. And this is what caused, it's not just Pele being upset and everything. Pele doesn't get up, they use it as a disguise. And I think the military went in and the government went in because of that. It was proof. The thermo plant is the example that the Hawaiians said on the news. We kept talking and talking about putting that geothermal plant, and the government kept pushing us and nobody would listen to us. Now she's saying Pele's taken over, but it's not Pele. They disrupted something with the fracking.
Well, fracking should be outlawed, but so should genetically modified foods and a whole bunch of other things that they're working to undermine humanity's best interests.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought up about the GMO, because we threw them out in Molokai, They threw them out. Monsanto came in.
Monsanto is a criminal corporation, but so is the United States of America.
Yes. But they're no longer here. The Hawaiians didn't stand for it. They just kept on it and on it. Maui here especially, then they got away with it. But in Molokai, they said they went under another name. I was there when I was in Molokai. I went into their thing. I said, are you Monsanto? Oh, no. We're the seed company, whatever they called it. And I don't want to even give power to their name, but Miocene seeds. I talked to the people that were doing the organic. They said, yeah, that's Monsanto, Valentine, as a disguise. And when I saw the operation, I went in there because I'm getting to know the island when I was there. I went in for some type of direction where I was at up there, and something told me to go in there, and they were so private. And I was a guest. I put my name in there, and I asked them questions. I want to get some water and use the restroom, because I had to get to a certain area in the area, and I needed direction. And they said, oh, this is highly classified, like government secrets, whatever. They wouldn't tell me anything. I said, are you Monsanto? And they wouldn't admit it. They have on their thing, MYOSEN seeds. And I said, it looks like a Monsanto operation. And it was. And they cleared them out. As of when I left, they cleared them out.
Well, they need to clear them off the face of the earth, and that's, as I've said before, that's God's business. I said that when I was a little kid. That's God's business.
There you go.
If you look at my current video, it has a picture of me when I'm like about 7 or 8 years old or something like that, or a little kid.
Yeah. Well, see, but you were more you were more awake You know, you didn't even
Well,
know it.
no, you're right. I didn't even know it.
You didn't even know it, but you sense things like something's not right. Like when I was at that age on my paper routes, it didn't make sense to me about prescription drugs. Why would if they're getting worse, why would you take it? You know, to the customers on my route, I would spend time to counsel with them. And then while I was with them, they went in the cupboard to get their medications and said, "Oh, my doctor." I said, "Well, how come you're taking them?" "My doctor told me so." I said, "Your doctor told you so?" I said, "Are you getting better?" "No, I'm getting worse." "So why are you taking them?" I'm a young kid. And then he went to show it to me. They got so frustrated that while I was in their presence, Ron, they couldn't find their prescription drugs while I was with them. They got so upset, I would just talk to them. And they forgot about their drugs, prescription drugs, while I was talking to them in the present.
Well, you know that I don't take any prescription drugs, and I didn't have the choice when I was in the hospital, but when I got out of the hospital, once the bottles that I had to take out with me were finished, they did not get refilled.
Yeah, and so that's interesting you brought that up. Now, Roseanne says Ambulin and the prescription drug told her to say this about Obama and this woman that he worked with, and then the company had to respond. Listen, there's no psychotic effect with this drug, because she took the drug and said she was Ambulin at 2 a.m. and lost her television show and hundreds of people's jobs over making a comment, and they took her off the air immediately because of what was said. And people could look it up, a Roseanne Barr about her show.
Yeah, I've heard things about that.
You heard about that, right? But I'm bringing about prescription drugs. When I saw her show just a little bit, because I like authentic shows. I don't like things with reading lines and everything and all planned out. It's not authentic to me. You know what I mean? It's
well,
nice
you don't watch mainstream news then, because they've shown like 20 or 30 different channels where there's different newscasters from different parts of the country, and they all are having the same line. It might be slightly modified, but it's the same text that they're provided. This is what we want you to tell the people.
Yeah, that's why I got out of the broadcasting field. That was my background in New York. When I was in the networks, I was with the top network people. I'm not kidding. He looked at me, Dr. Frank Field. I don't know if you remember him from NBC or ABC he was on. He's on there for 40 years. I get back there with him, right? He goes, "Who let you in?" I go, "Well, I got called in here to talk to you." He was shocked. He goes, how did you know?" Then I was with ABC. They call me the new broadcaster in from Georgia, as I probably mentioned before.
Georgia?
Yeah, because I'm from the South. I was in Virginia. They were expecting somebody in New York. The new guy, I was in a 3-piece suit, and I was doing something with ABC over there. I was actually working on a television show as a brother and sister, like Donnie Marie Osmond. And they wanted, like Regis and Kathy Lee had a talk show. Well, they were looking at me to do a talk show because I was very young. I had experience and background in broadcasting. They liked what I wanted to do to bring something clean out of Hollywood, like Donnie Marie Osmond, entertainment as a TV show, as a host. I'm not kidding you. I had the connection in ABC. The guy said, "I think you'd be great on air." And when I found out what went on in the networks, I was naive. I had no idea what went on, like what you just said. I was like caught in between, like, okay, what do I do now? And I have to stay with the healing and help people, and more authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much going on in the world, and if ever we needed, people get mad at me when I say divine intervention. They say it's up to us. If it's up to us alone, a brainwashed population by far and large that has been lied to generationally, going back multiple generations, how are we supposed to do it without help that's more powerful than the criminals that have been running things, lying to us forever?
Yeah. And we had no idea. We're so naive. Even our parents, my father, I remember him saying, he didn't trust people or banks or anything. He said, "What a cruel world." I mean, for him to say that, he never said anything. He kept quiet about things because he was in the service. He was a communication specialist. like a spy. That's what they call him, right? Against Hitler, going in and against Hitler, right? And I remember him one day, he looked at me and he goes, with the news, he goes, what a cruel world that we're in. And, okay, great. I'm glad you told me. And yeah, and I mean, look what's going on. I don't know if you know the latest too, the wildfires that's going on, Ron. There's 5 states affected right now: Durango, Colorado, New Mexico. There's 4 in 5 states right now. It's so dry that it's just taken over acreage and acreage. I don't know how much. It was tremendous, like 36,000 acres in one state or something. The fires.
Well, that certainly fractures families and people's lives.
Yes. So that's what we need to set up centers, and that's why I brought that up globally when I want to do fractured families with inheritance. We're going to do that another day. Because of the nature of what's going on about fractured families, we need to have compassion and unite and have these centers to help in these countries to help these people now. Whatever people can do to help them and make sure it's funneled in to the right people to help. The money.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Because the monetary system has not been controlled by positive people.
Yes. Unfortunately, like I said, we've been in the dark all this time thinking, oh, just like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all that, we've been lied to, right? Even that. And parents even continued our generation of family. It was a fun thing. They thought it was a fun thing. And for the kids, when you're growing up, that's fun. But then people say, oh, there's no Santa Claus. Well, don't say that. They're a kid. Let them know. But you start them off with a lie. Tell them that it was an imaginary Santa Claus with elves. It was made up. Why don't you tell them it was made up, like pretend world? But don't lie to them. You know what I mean? But we do.
Yeah, it's our culture, and it's been going on a long time.
A long time, right? It's a generational thing. Again, globally. So what do we do? What's the truth? What is the truth now? That's probably what the truth serum. What is the truth? The white lies? That's not the truth. You know what I mean?
No, we need extraterrestrial or angelic help.
Yeah.
And some say it's here and it is working behind the scenes, but I want to see more evidence.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Well, it's the unseen, like you said, and I don't blame you, because people, when I was in Europe, would say the same thing. When I was there 15 years ago in Denmark and Sweden, they all showed up, all the healers, and then they disappeared. I said, where you going? They're like long rangers. I said, they all stand for I said, how are you uniting together? You come out for this major event once a year, and then you disappear. They said, well, we were waiting for God. This is what they said to me. And we were ready, but we're not listening to him because it's taken too long. So we're going to do our own thing. That's what they told me.
Well, it is taking too long. I agree with that, but I still haven't given up on God like many people that I know.
Yes. No, don't do that, because he'll start knocking at the door. Like I listened to your video and he showed up in an embodiment that I've never experienced before, saying, I've given you the opportunity to embody the Christ spirit. So you guys need to come together as warrior men and women to help on the planet. I did my job. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we need more warrior men with angel wings. And warrior women with angel wings.
There you go. Exactly. We do. And unite our forces of light together, those souls, to go and help your communities and families, especially what's going on right now globally with the forest fires over in those 5 states I mentioned. Volcanoes in Big Island, what we spoke about regards to, they're airlifting. I didn't even tell you this. They're airlifting people out and giving citations to dozens of people that won't leave. And there's hundreds of homes. I didn't bring this up.
We'll try to wrap up.
Yeah, there's hundreds of homes in the Big Island right now that people will not leave. They're giving citations. They don't care about the citations. They have no escape route now. They have to lift them out by helicopter. And they're very upset. The military, they're very upset because we have the Hawaiian military did it as a volunteer, and they understand, right? to help the local people that live here, and they've been like angels, they said, you know, calming them and all. But the point is that if you don't leave, they're not going to come and get you. You know what one person said? They have no power, nothing. They said, I can't believe it that the phone went and did that. Unbelievable. See? There we go.
Yeah. Well, it's time to say aloha.
Yes, I'll say aloha to you too.
And we'll continue in another video.
Wonderful, Ron. Wonderful. In the rainbows to everyone.
And thank you,
aloha.
Valentine.
Okay, wonderful, Ron.
Bye-bye.